Ever since Ashlee Jenae's death, I've been noticing a certain narrative gaining traction. And listen to this, it's hard to ignore. And that narrative, it's quickly turning into this idea of blaming black men for everything. And hold up, that doesn't really add up. Now, let me say this clearly. If a black man had actually gone to Tanzania and killed Ashlee Jenae, then sure, that argument would make sense. But that's not what's happening here. Instead, what we're seeing feels like black men getting blamed for things they had absolutely nothing to do with. And girl, it seems like all of this is being fueled simply by how some black men reacted to her death.
So once this incident happened, once people got news of it, they ran to social media. And basically, instead of expressing concern about the loss of this young black woman's life, they were more fixated on the fact that she was with this white man. They were more concerned about that. And some of them basically were somewhat gleeful about the fact that you had a white man unalive a black woman, and they tried to use that as an example of, a woman getting what she deserves because she got with a white man. And before I go any further, of course, I support black love and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm about. But I find it sickening that people were taking secret joy in the fact that this black woman was unalived, at the hands of this white man, because they saw this as an opportunity to warn black women about white men.
Now, I'm familiar with this brother, New Possibilities. Listen to this. He's an attorney, and I'll give credit where it's due. He's a sharp individual, no doubt about that. We don't see eye to eye politically most of the time, but I can't deny he's intelligent. And because of that, I'm willing to extend a little grace here. Because yes, let's be real. There are some black men who have gone a bit too far with their commentary about her. I can acknowledge that. However, what New Possibilities and others seem to overlook is that Ashlee Jenae herself had a history of saying some wild, disrespectful things about black men. I mean, here we go again with that viral quote. Every day, black men wake up and find new ways to embarrass us. Then there were statements like, mixed babies are so cute. I mean, hold up. Patterns matter. And what I keep noticing is that whenever black men respond or push back against something that was initiated by someone else, suddenly they're expected to be the bigger person, even when the individual, alive or deceased, has openly disrespected them in the past. And honestly, I don't think that's fair. Not only that, there were multiple articles circulating that raised some serious concerns for a lot of black men. Let's start with that Yahoo piece, the one framing Ashlee Jenae's story around how black women continue to be vulnerable to violence. It painted this broad picture of black women as constant victims and pushed the idea that everyone needs to protect them more. And again, I'm not against protecting black women, I agree with that. But let's not ignore what's being implied here, because indirectly, that narrative points right back at black men, who are often closest to black women, even though black men had nothing to do with this specific situation. And when some black men spoke up about that, Madame Noir came through with a strong response. An article titled, "The Internet Says Ashlee Jenae's Death is Karma for Dating a White Man." Now, Ebony took a slightly different angle. Their article, "Ashlee Jenae's Death Raises Questions About Visibility and Safety Abroad," felt less aggressive. But even then, they linked it to the Shanquella Robinson case in Mexico, almost suggesting that black women aren't safe anywhere in the world.
Put out like a little tweet article, and it was low-key trying to shame brothers. It was some real passive-aggressive thing. And I see a lot of these people, especially the divestor class, they're doing a lot of little passive-aggressive things. They're saying, is Ashlee was a black woman living a life of comfort and exploring the world, and she traveled the world and exploring, but protections didn't follow her. As a black woman, she didn't get the protection. They were on the black woman don't get protected thing. Okay. I'm kind of seeing that narrative, which is like a shaming tactic to brothers. Don't go, y'all don't go there. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't play that. How come we didn't protect her game? Right? She forfeited that. All right, we're gonna be real. All that zaddy worshiping, okay, all that zaddy worshiping, she forfeited that. Yeah, Essence and Ebony, yeah, that's Tether Bedwench Fest. All right, Ebony and Essence, that's the headquarters for Tethers and Bedwenches. So listen, no, and again, nobody's justifying anything. Nothing should have happened to that girl. Nothing. She should still be alive today. She should still be alive, but you kind of forfeited that with all that zaddy worshiping. Right, you put yourself in the lion's den. And Ebony, they said nothing about zaddy in that article they wrote. They didn't say nothing about zaddy.
So again, listen to this. Tariq Nasheed brings up something that really needs to be addressed, because the whole conversation took a sharp turn. It went from, she was killed by this white man, even though she defended white men and disrespected black men, to suddenly, why don't you black men feel sympathy for her? Then it flipped again to, why aren't you black men protecting her? Okay, hold up. And right after that, you had all these black feminist blogs popping up indirectly pointing fingers and criticizing black men. Very similar energy to what I believe New Possibilities was putting out. And we've seen this pattern before, right? Take the Justin Fairfax situation, the former lieutenant governor who tragically took his own life along with his wife. Somehow, black men still ended up catching blame for that situation. Even though this man was highly educated at Duke, Columbia, and as a lawyer, he was clearly part of the black Democratic elite, yet somehow, black men still paid the social price. And now we're seeing a similar dynamic play out again. Black men's responses, even if they come off harsh, are rooted in what they believe is the truth. You were involved with this white man, someone who clearly wasn't fully vetted. There could have been foul play involved, sure, but now the same group being criticized is being asked to step in and protect, even after being told their protection wasn't needed. And for many, that feels like a contradiction. From their perspective, once you openly dismiss and disrespect a group, you can't then turn around and expect protection, empathy, or sympathy from them. Now, let me say this, and I'm going on record with it. She was only 31 years old, and at 31, let's be honest, most people are still figuring life out. Age doesn't automatically equal maturity, but she has passed, and once that happens, people don't know your full story. They don't always extend grace or context. And that leads us to the next question, and trust me, this is where it really gets unsettling.
Oh, notice another thing too, family. With this story going around, and the story is viral about old girl, notice none of the zaddies are speaking out. You notice that? You don't see none of these white tea men speaking up for that girl. You don't see none of them speaking out against their fellow zaddy. They're not saying anything. All of these zaddies that y'all used to laying up with and you're putting the cape on for it, none of these zaddies are saying nothing. All right? None. There is mum's the word with them. I ain't seen none of these zaddies say nothing, not a peep. Don't come to us. No. No, we were an embarrassment, right? That's what she said. Black men embarrass people and whoop-de-whoop, and black men are this and black men are that. Now, again, the family's up here trying to raise money to get her body back over here. Where's all that money Zaddy was balling out with?
So listen, I actually took Tariq's suggestion seriously, hold up, and decided to check it for myself. I went straight to TikTok, no shortcuts, trying to find even one white creator really speaking on this situation. And you won't believe this. I couldn't find any. Now, if you look right here, this is a screenshot. Typically, when you search Ashlee Jenae's name on TikTok, you're supposed to see whatever videos are trending. But on that first page, not a single white man in sight. Then I scrolled to the second page. At that moment, those were all the results I saw. Still no white men, just one white woman way down at the bottom. So I pushed it further and checked the third page. And again, not one white man showed up. Okay, let's be clear here. I'm not talking about just any white creator casually reporting the news. I'm talking about those white men who claim they love black women, who center them, who speak passionately about them. The same type of energy we saw from New Possibilities earlier in this video. And guess what? None of them are speaking up right now. Now, sure, you can find thousands of white men online saying black women are their preference, their only choice, all of that. But in this moment, the only people I see talking are black men, some telling others to chill, and black women. And that raises a real question, because those so-called white zaddies who supposedly love black women, they're nowhere to be found. And it gets deeper than that, because not only are they silent, but the fiancé, Joe McCann, is also missing in action. Ooh, let that sink in. While some of y'all were online talking about mixed babies, criticizing black men, and showing off these white relationships, there's something else you might have missed. Joe McCann never posted Ashlee Jenae on his social media, not once. No tags, no pictures, nothing that I could see. She posted him, sure, and from her page it looked like there was something real there. But on his side, to his friends, to his family, there was no sign of her. And after she passed, her family even confirmed he hasn't contributed financially at all. Now yes, some white men do show up and stand 10 toes down, but in this situation, we didn't see that. So now the real question is this: who should actually be held accountable here? Is it black men reacting, sometimes harshly, to someone who showed them little empathy in the past? Or is it the man she trusted, the one who hasn't shown up? This is the man she chose, the man she planned to marry, not a black man, him. Her family trusted him too. So how do black men end up catching blame for something they had no involvement in? He was the one responsible for her care. He was the one in her life like that. And while all this was unfolding, reports say he was online talking about Bitcoin and crypto on X, not even addressing her condition. That's what was happening. So why isn't that same energy being directed where it actually belongs? Toward the person who may have failed her the most? But I'm curious, what do you think? It's your boy Yoshi D. Jackson, back again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Hit that bell. Wow.